We may or may not see a lot of FaZe members speaking around the FaZe Clan potential acquisition happening in the next couple of months before this year ends, but one of them is first to speak up is actually FaZe Sensei on a recent podcast that he runs called The Breakdown. You guys should go check it out, especially if you're into YouTuber or creator boxing. It's actually FaZe Sensei talking about, can FaZe Clan make the return? Can the FaZe OGs come back and make FaZe Clan succeed like they once did without someone like FaZe Rain? And I do think that's a pretty crucial question, as FaZe Sensei puts a lot of onus on the fact that FaZe Rain was kind of like the Justin Bieber of FaZe Clan, and when they peaked, he was a gigantic part of it. So all you FaZe fans, what do you think about this? But here's what Sensei had to say.
Does it give you that hesitation to fully pull the trigger on like, this is back, we are back type deal?
Well, yeah, part of it is just, it's not so much that, it's more so like, it could be like, if this is going to go really well, let's say the return of these, the OGs are back, those three guys, right? There's so much potential with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the potential is so much greater
with one more
guy.
Because is that because
he was so integral, bro, back then. I don't think you realize he was the first, like, right before, it was right around like Rug.
Yeah.
But Norden was the first.
Yeah.
Like, when FaZe was rising, like, we're talking about individual member. We're talking, like, the Bieber of FaZe Clan, essentially.
Yep.
Norden was that guy. He was the monster.
Yeah.
Bro, he was the one. His merch was going crazy.
Yep.
Like, when we were at the house and the guys were driving, these kids were driving 9 hours.
Yep.
To come stake out the house, whatever, knock on the door. They were there to see Norden, bro.
Yeah.
They were there to see FaZe Rain. And FaZe Rain was like, because he was one of the first guys to, like, because Temper did IRL content, but like when the Vape Lord Nord and the IRL vlogs, when Norden started doing those.
Vape Lord Nord is great.
Yeah, bro. Like, the stuff that he was doing, it was crazy, bro. It was what a crazy time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he was the.
But he had it. He had it. He had the magic.
He
had
monster.
it. Yeah.
Right. And he was also so good at the game. That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Such a good creator, but also disgusting.
Just
at
a
the
nasty
game.
Player.
You know what I'm saying? So and he's such an OG. So when you have someone like that was such an integral part of.
Is this like trying
the
to
peak
get
of FaZe?
This is like in 97, or excuse me, 97, 98 when Michael had his out year, you know what I'm saying, coming up in 99, and they're like, bro, if we bring Michael back.
And again, not only referring to him as kind of like the Bieber, I believe he said during this clip, but also saying he played such a pivotal role because of all the different periods of time. I mean, I've told Rain this, and you guys know I've covered Rain a lot. He doesn't like me. We don't really have any. He doesn't have hard feelings. He says I don't really have hard feelings. He said some not so nice stuff, but it is what it is, right? We can agree to our differences, but regardless, I've already told him I watched his vlogs I watched him all the time back in the day, especially around the CS times when they were all playing CS for a little bit there. I would watch Norden Shat. I mean, all the vlogs every time, and it was just so addictive. It was a different period of time for content. Not only did he play such a pivotal role, but it goes beyond that. He even mentioned something I think was very, very true. He said FaZe Clan kind of lost what it was when those guys stopped showing face. Whether it's stop producing content, stop going to events, stop being who they are, and I completely agree.
So here's my question.
Involved a lot too in the face of the in terms of the videos and the content. So like that's gonna be the main thing, man. We gotta see. I want to see these guys back what they were doing, which is at the front of the line, bro.
Yeah.
At the front of the damn line.
Yeah.
Lead them from the front.
Yep.
Show them face.
Yep. You got to be on the front lines.
That we do that. If that happens, we good.
Yeah.
That's the big shift, I think. Man, once guys started taking a back seat, and again, it's not just a back seat, bro. People forget. Banks went through some really hard stuff personally.
Yep.
He went back home. He left FaZe for a year, bro.
Yep.
This is before, this is before the corporate guy really took over, though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, there was that, and then they moved to LA, and some guys wanted to live in the house, but then they got this new house, and then Apex was like living back at home because he started his personal life.
Yep.
Then it's like, okay, then they split the house. Then they had a house in Calabasas, which my brother, Cheo, like Tico and Lucas and Blaziken were living in. Then they had like Temper and like these other guys living in a different house.
Yep.
Then they try to bring in other people to the house, like Adapt. Alex was in the house. Then they try to bring other guys. Then they got another house. So it was just
chaos.
crazy.
Just chaos.
Right. Pure chaos. And a lot of it was just life, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But when life is happening and you don't earn your P's and Q's, people can
I know.
take
And when
what's yours, bro.
and when your main thing doesn't remain the main thing, right? And that's I think where if you're gonna get back to peak, the main thing, like you said, you have to show face. You have to be on the front lines, and FaZe has to be the main thing. Not Temper, not Banks, not whatever. It has to be FaZe. And those personalities will shine, but it does. If you really want this back, and this was the question I was going to ask you, who, if there is anybody, could convince Norden to come back?
Oh my God.
I was going to say, is anybody going to,
No, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I don't know exactly where Norton's head at. But if I had to guess, the structure of the deal,
The 51
I think
49.
is so important because
And there's probably more details there, too. It probably,
because it's a trust thing, bro. It's like a prenup, like in a sense, I think for Norton, where it's like I've been there
Yep.
and I've had promises.
It was like we almost lost a lot of those OG members into the LA Hollywood world, which is, I can't, argue with that, right? A lot of money went their way, a ton of views. I mean, you got millions and millions of followers, millions and millions of dollars. Of course, LA hits everyone different, and it can change you. And I can imagine, especially being teenagers like they were, it would have changed me. I can't blame them, but it does feel like we lost the soul of what FaZe Clan once was, once they became this multi-million-dollar organization of popular content creators. And like Sensei also says, they kind of started going all their different ways. So the giant question is, with these OGs back in control, if this acquisition gets approved, it'll make FaZe Banks the CEO. It'll also bring back Apex and Temper as top C-class roles in control of FaZe Clan. I don't know how much control they'll have of the entire entity under GameSquare, the parent company of Complexity. But what can they possibly do to bring back FaZe? Of what we've already said in a previous video the other day, FaZe Banks said they can return FaZe Clan to what it was in its peak form, which I'm skeptical of. I hope for it. I really do want that to happen, but can it? And how can they do it? And one last question that Sensei, the reason we made this video, can FaZe Clan do it? Can the FaZe OGs do it without FaZe Rain? And I'm sure he'll speak about this in the future. I'm sure other members will speak on this. It's going to be interesting, not just 2 months to see if this gets approved, but the next year for FaZe Clan, as many would call this maybe like a last straw, to actually return, or who knows what happens with the brand, one of the, if not the most game-changing brands ever in gaming, FaZe Clan. What's going to happen to it? That's what Sensei had to say. What do you guys think? We'll catch you back here sometime soon, though. Until then, take care of yourselves, all right?